You're making the biggest mistake of your life!
Some mistakes are actually the best decisions you never knew you wanted to make.
Because you matter to me and I'm tired of pretending I'm not in love with you.
When did you realize it was more than just a friendship? Moment a simple friendship blossomed into something deeper remains etched in my memory. It all unfolded during a road trip with my closest male friend when my vehicle suddenly gave out. No, 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 I muttered, smacking my palm against the steering wheel as the engine emitted one last pitiful wheeze before falling completely silent. Steam billowed from under the hood like a dragon's final breath, and with a mechanical sigh, the air conditioning shut off, leaving us in an immediate, oppressive heat. "Well, this is just fantastic," Leo grumbled from the passenger seat, already rolling down his window. We were stranded in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, with temperatures likely hitting 110 degrees. I stared at the empty highway stretching endlessly in both directions. Not a single car had passed in the last hour. There was only vast asphalt, scrubby desert, and mountains resembling cardboard cutouts against the blazing sky. My phone displayed one weak signal bar, and I began dialing frantically. "Come on, pick up," I whispered to the ringtone. It went to voicemail. Of course. "Hey, it's me," I said into the recording. "Our car broke down. We're stuck on Route 50, somewhere between nowhere and the absolute middle of it. Call me back right away. This is kind of an emergency." Leo was already exiting the car, lifting the hood with practiced ease. "Let me guess," he said, straight to voicemail. "He's probably in a meeting," I replied, though even I could hear the defensiveness in my voice. "It's Tuesday afternoon. He has that big presentation today, remember?" Leo vanished behind the raised hood, and I heard him muttering. "Hand me that water bottle from your bag, would you?" I fetched the bottle and joined him as he bent over the engine, sweat beading on his forehead, his t-shirt beginning to cling to his back. The engine compartment looked like a mechanical disaster zone, littered with hoses and unidentifiable metal parts, all coated in fine desert dust. "So what's the verdict, Dr. Mechanic?" I asked, trying to sound light. "Well, the good news is it's not the transmission," he said, pouring water over a steaming component and stepping back as more vapor erupted. "Bad news is the radiator hose gave up, and possibly the water pump too. Without proper tools," he shrugged. My phone buzzed with a text from my boyfriend Alex, in back-to-back meetings until 6. "What's up?" "Are you kidding me?" I stared at the screen. "Back-to-back meetings? I told him it was an emergency." Leo glanced from my phone to the engine. "What did he say?" "He's in meetings until 6. I checked the time. It was barely 2 in the afternoon. 4 more hours, huh?" Leo's voice was carefully neutral, but I detected something beneath it. "Guess we're on our own then." I texted back frantically, car completely dead, stranded in middle of desert, need help now. The reply was almost instant. "Can't talk, call roadside assistance." "Call roadside assistance," I read aloud. "Does he think I'm an idiot?" Leo looked up from prodding the engine with a screwdriver he'd found in the trunk. "I take it Prince Charming isn't riding to the rescue." He told me to call roadside assistance. I was already dialing, though that had been my first move. The representative was polite but unhelpful. "I'm sorry, but the earliest we can get a tow truck to your location is tomorrow morning. We're dealing with multiple breakdowns due to the heat wave, and you're in a very remote area." "Tomorrow morning," my voice cracked. "We can't stay out here overnight." "I understand your frustration. You might try flagging down a passing vehicle for help." I hung up and looked at Leo, now elbow-deep in the engine. "Tomorrow morning, that's the earliest they can come." "Awesome," he said, wiping greasy hands on his jeans. "Okay, new plan. I think I can jury-rig something with the spare hose from the windshield washer system. It's not ideal, but it might get us to the next town." "You can do that." "I can try." He pulled tools from his backpack, not just a basic kit, but actual mechanical tools. "My dad made me learn this stuff when I got my first car, said I'd thank him someday." I watched him work systematically, disconnecting hoses and examining connections with confident, methodical movements. Meanwhile, I kept checking my phone, hoping for something more from Alex than dismissive texts. Another message arrived. "I'm sure it's not that bad. Cars break down all the time. Just wait for the tow truck." "Just wait for the tow truck," I read aloud. "He says it's not that bad." Leo paused. "Did you tell him we're stuck in the desert with no shade and it's over 100 degrees?" Of course I did, and his advice is to wait it out. Genuine anger began to simmer in me. He's acting like this is no big deal. Leo didn't respond immediately, just continued working. Then, without looking up, he said, "You know, in the 3 years I've known you, I don't think I've ever seen him actually show up when you needed him." He glanced at me. "Remember when you had food poisoning last month? Who drove you to urgent care at 2 in the morning? You did, but..." "And when your apartment flooded? Who spent the whole weekend helping you move your stuff and deal with the insurance company?" "You, but that's different. You're my friend." "I'm your friend," he said, his voice calm but with an edge. "What does that make him?" Before I could answer, he straightened up, wiping more grease on his shirt. "Okay, I think I've got something. It's not pretty and definitely not permanent, but it might work." He had connected a section of windshield washer hose to bridge a gap in the radiator line, a patch job held together with duct tape and hope. "Will it hold?" "Long enough to get us to civilization, hopefully." He refilled the radiator with our remaining water. Cross your fingers. My phone rang. Finally, I said, answering immediately. Where have you been? I've been texting for over an hour. I told you I'm in meetings, Alex said, sounding irritated. I only have a minute. What's the big emergency? Our car broke down. We're stranded in the desert. Okay, did you call roadside assistance? Of course I did. They can't get here until tomorrow morning. Tomorrow? That seems excessive. Are you sure you called the right number? I looked at Leo, who pretended not to listen as he made final adjustments. Yes, I'm sure. There's a heat wave, everyone's car is breaking down, and we're in the middle of nowhere. Well, I don't know what you want me to do from here. I can't exactly teleport to Nevada. I want you to care. I want you to act like your girlfriend being stranded is more important than your stupid meetings. My stupid meetings? These meetings are paying for our trip in case you forgot, and for the record, you're not exactly stranded if Leo is there with you. The line went quiet. Even Leo looked up. What's that supposed to mean? I asked. Nothing. Look, I have to go. Just figure it out. You're both adults. He hung up. I stared at the phone, stunned. Leo watched me, his expression unreadable. Everything okay? He asked quietly. He said we should figure it out because we're adults, and that I'm not really stranded since you're here. Leo didn't respond immediately, turning back to check his repair. Okay, he said finally. Let's see if this works. He climbed into the driver's seat and turned the key. The engine cranked once, twice, then caught with a rough idle. Steam still rose, but less dramatically. It's running, I said, surprised. It's running, he agreed. Question is, for how long? He revved the engine gently. I think we can make it to the next town if we take it easy and stop if the temperature gauge gets too high. I got in the passenger seat, the air conditioning still out, hot desert air whipping through the open windows. After a few minutes of driving, Leo spoke. You know, I meant what I said earlier, about him never showing up when you need him. I started to argue, then stopped. I couldn't think of a single time in the past year Alex had dropped everything to help me with a real problem. It was always Leo, when I broke my wrist, when I moved, when my computer crashed before a big presentation. I never asked you to do those things, I said quietly. I know, he replied, glancing at me. That's not why I do them. The engine made a concerning noise, and he pulled over to check the gauge. We weren't going much further, but at least someone was trying. We limped into a tiny town called Desert Springs. Leo pulled into the parking lot of what looked like the only gas station for miles. The temperature gauge was in the red, steam seeping from the hood again. We made it this far, Leo said, turning off the engine. But we're not going further without real parts. The gas station was ancient, unchanged since the 80s. An elderly man behind the counter looked up. Car trouble. Radiator hose, Leo explained. Don't suppose you carry any parts. The man chuckled. Son, I've got motor oil, washer fluid, and air fresheners. Anything more, you'll need Benny, the local mechanic, but he's fishing until Thursday. Thursday? It's Tuesday. Yep, goes every week this time of year. Won't be back until Thursday afternoon. Leo rubbed his forehead, leaving a grease smudge. Is there anywhere else? Next town with a real mechanic is about 60 miles north, but I wouldn't try it in your car, not with those radiator problems. My phone buzzed with texts from Alex, each more irritating. How's it going? Fixed yet? You've been gone all day. Starting to think you planned this. Seriously, when are you coming back? I made dinner reservations for tonight. He made dinner reservations, I said in disbelief. We're stranded and he's worried about dinner. Leo looked at the Mies. Sages, he thinks you planned this. I typed back, car still broken, stuck until Thursday, cancel the reservations. He replied immediately, Thursday? That's ridiculous, just rent a car. I showed Leo, just rent a car. Obviously there's a rental agency in Desert Springs. Population's about 40, the attendant corrected helpfully. But yeah, no rental cars. Leo went outside to examine the car, I followed. His makeshift repair was failing, duct tape coming loose, a puddle of coolant forming. So, what are our options? I asked. We could call for a tow, but that'll cost a fortune. We could wait until Thursday. Or, he paused, thoughtful, I could try to find parts and do a permanent fix myself. Where? Junkyard, most small towns have one. The attendant directed us to a scrapyard 2 miles outside town. Leo convinced the owner, a weathered woman named Rosa, to let us look for $20. While he disappeared into the maze of rusted vehicles, I tried calling Alex again. This time, he answered. Finally, did you get the car fixed? No, we're in a tiny town. The only mechanic is gone until Thursday. Thursday? Come on, you're being dramatic. There has to be someone else. I'm not being dramatic. We're literally in the middle of the desert. Look, I get you're frustrated, but figure it out. I already canceled dinner, and now people are asking where you are. What did you tell them? That you and Leo went on a spontaneous road trip and lost track of time. Lost track of time? Our car is broken. I know, but I can't exactly tell everyone my girlfriend is stranded. It makes me look bad. The words hit like a physical blow. It makes you look bad. You know what I mean? Like I can't take care of you. But you can't, you haven't even tried. What am I supposed to do from 300 miles away? From across the junkyard, Leo called out triumphantly, Found one, this might work. Who is that? Alex asked. Leo, he found a part. Of course he did. His tone turned nasty. Leo to the rescue again. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, forget it. No, what did you mean? Just that it's convenient how Leo always solves your problems. Makes me wonder what you do without him. Heat rose in my chest, unrelated to the sun. Are you seriously making this about Leo? He's the only reason we're not still on the highway. Right, Saint Leo never does anything wrong. At least he's here. At least he's trying instead of making dinner reservations and worrying about what people think. You know what? Call me when you're ready to come home and stop acting like a child. He hung up. I stood in the scorching heat, feeling utterly alone. Leo emerged, carrying a slightly used radiator hose, his face flushed with success. He took one look at my expression and stopped. What happened? He hung up on me again. Leo set down the parts. What did he say? That I'm acting like a child, and it's convenient how you always solve my problems. Leo was quiet for a moment, wiping his hands on a rag. You know what's convenient? Having someone who actually cares enough to stick around when things get difficult. He picked up the hose again. Do you want to know what I did when you called yesterday morning, excited about this trip? I cleared my entire weekend, took Monday and Tuesday off, told my sister I couldn't help her move because I had plans with you. I stared at him. You didn't tell me. Because I wanted to be here. Spending time with you matters more to me than anything else. When's the last time he canceled something important to be with you? I tried to think of an example and came up empty. That's what I thought, Leo said, his voice tired. You want to know what's really convenient? Having a boyfriend who treats you like an inconvenience unless everything's perfect. He's not usually like this. Isn't he, be honest? When has he ever helped you solve a real problem? I opened my mouth to argue, then closed it. He was right. Come on, Leo said, shouldering his toolbox. Let's get this car fixed. As we walked back, my phone buzzed. Stop being stubborn. Just take a bus home and we'll laugh about this next week. A bus. He wanted me to abandon the trip, the car, Leo, and take a bus home. I looked at Leo, already planning the repair, muttering about fittings and coolant. He'd spent his own money, ruined his clothes, worked in the blazing heat, and Alex wanted me to get on a bus. For the first time, I began to understand what that meant. Leo worked for the next 2 hours while I sat in the shade, watching. You should take a break, I called. You'll get heat stroke. Almost done, he replied, not looking up. My phone buzzed constantly with texts from Alex. You're not responding. Are you mad? This is ridiculous. You're being childish. Fine, stay mad. BTW, Chris asked where you were at lunch today. Had to make up a story so he wouldn't think you ditched our plans. People. You're starting to talk. Lily asked if we broke up. Call me back, this is embarrassing. I screenshotted the messages, then noticed something. His earlier text about meetings until 6 was timestamped 2:15 p.m. His message about lunch with Chris was 2:45 p.m. He wasn't in meetings. He was having lunch with friends while I was stranded. That lying piece of garbage, I muttered. What now? Leo asked. I showed him the screenshots. He lied about being unavailable, and now he's worried about what people think. Leo's expression darkened. Of course he is. God forbid anyone think he can't control his girlfriend. Before I could respond, a beat-up pickup pulled into the station. 2 men got out, looking like they'd been drinking. The larger one spotted us. Having some car trouble, friend? He called, swaggering over. Nothing I can't handle, Leo replied politely. That's a nice car, the second man said, running his hand along the paint. You two heading somewhere special? Just passing through, Leo said, straightening up, tension in his shoulders. Well, if your boyfriend here can't fix it, my buddy runs a garage in town. Might take a few days. You'd need somewhere to stay. The man's grin widened. We know a place. Thanks, but we're fine, Leo said firmly, moving slightly between me and them. Aw, no need to be unfriendly. Seems like you could use help. That's when my phone rang, Alex. Without thinking, I answered. Thank goodness you called back, I said loudly. We've got some guys here bothering us. Whoa, slow down, Alex interrupted. Guys bothering you? What guys? There are these 2 men, and they're being really creepy and... Are you serious? You're calling me about random people talking to you? I thought this was an actual emergency. The 2 men heard every word. The larger one chuckled. Emergency? Sounds like your boyfriend doesn't think you're in real trouble. I felt my face burn. Can you please just... I started. Look, I don't know what you want me to do about random people in Nevada. Deal with it yourself. You've got Leo there, right? He hung up. The men burst out laughing. Boyfriend hung up on you. Sounds like he doesn't much care what happens. Leo slammed the hood hard. Time for you 2 to move along. Or what? The second man stepped closer. Or I'll make you. Leo's tone was dangerous. I'd never seen him like this. The men must have seen it too. After a tense moment, they backed off. Whatever, your loss. They drove away. You okay? Leo asked softly. No, I'm really not. He started the car. Miraculously, it turned over smoothly, the temperature gauge normal. It's fixed. It's fixed, he said with a small smile. Should get us wherever we need to go. We drove in silence for a while. He hung up on me, I said quietly. Those guys were clearly bad news, and he hung up. They heard everything. Yeah, Leo said, knuckles white on the wheel. If you hadn't been there. But I was. What if you hadn't been? What if I'd been alone? He pulled over at a scenic overlook and turned off the engine. Can I ask you something? When was the last time he made you feel safe? I mean, when something bad happened, when you were scared, did calling him make you feel better or worse? I thought about every crisis, medical tests, my boss yelling, my dad's heart attack. Every time it had been Leo. I can't remember, I admitted. He nodded. You deserve someone who would move heaven and earth to get to you if you were in trouble. Someone who'd cancel every meeting, drive all night, spend everything to make sure you were safe. I'm not saying it has to be me. I'm just saying it should be someone, and it sure shouldn't be someone who hangs up when strangers make you uncomfortable. My phone buzzed. Whatever game you're playing, it's not funny anymore. Come home, I showed Leo. He thinks this is a game. Of course, he can't imagine you having actual problems that don't revolve around him. I typed back, not playing games. Car actually broken, actually stranded. Creepy guys actually bothered us. But don't worry, according to you, it's not a real emergency. He replied, don't be dramatic. If it was really that bad, Leo wouldn't have let anything happen. I showed Leo, who laughed without humor. At least he's got that much right. I wouldn't let anything happen to you. Why? I asked suddenly. Why do you care so much? It was quiet for a long moment, staring at the desert. You really want to know? I nodded. He turned to look at me, something new in his eyes. Because you matter to me. Because when you're happy, I'm happy. Because when you're in trouble, nothing else seems important until I know you're safe. He continued softly, and because I've been in love with you for about 2 years now, and I'm tired of pretending I'm not. The silence stretched between us. My mind reeled. 2 years, my phone rang Alex. Leo saw it and leaned back. You should answer. I hesitated, then answered, hello. Okay, I've been thinking, Alex said without preamble. I talked to Chris about your situation. He thinks you should just drive to Vegas. It's only like 2 hours from where you are. You can get the car looked at there, stay in a nice hotel, make a vacation out of it. What about you? Would you come meet us? I can't exactly drop everything and fly to Vegas. I've got work, but you and Leo can handle it. You want me to go to Vegas with Leo without you? Why not? You guys are already on your little adventure together. The word stung. What if I said I needed you to come? What if I wanted my boyfriend with me? You're being ridiculous. Leo's your friend. He's already there. He can take care of it. I don't see why I need to fly across the country when you've already got help. Something cracked inside me. Because I'm your girlfriend, when your girlfriend needs you, you're supposed to want to be there. I do want to be there, but I'm being practical. Leo's got it handled. What if Leo wasn't here? What if I was alone? But you're not alone, that's the point. Never mind, I said finally. You're right, Leo's got it handled. Good, text me when you get to Vegas. He hung up. Vegas? Leo asked quietly. He thinks we should drive there, make a vacation out of it. I put my phone down. He said you could handle whatever needs handling. And what do you think? I just asked my boyfriend to be with me when I needed him, and he said no because you're already here. Yeah, that's not normal. That's not how relationships are supposed to work. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Hey, this is Lily from your book club. Got your number from Mark. He said you were on a road trip with Leo. Thought you broke up with him months ago. Confused, I stared at the message, my blood turning cold. I showed Leo. Lily from my book club. She thinks I broke up with Alex months ago. His eyes widened. What? I typed back, I'm still with Alex. Why would you think we broke up? She replied, oh, weird. He's been telling everyone you guys split up. He even brought a date to Tyler's birthday party last month and said you were seeing other people. Super awkward. The ground felt like it dropped from under me. He brought a date. He told people we broke up. When was Tyler's party? Leo asked. Last month, the weekend I was visiting my sister. He said he had to work. I typed frantically, what date? Who did he bring? Some blonde from his gym, I think. Really pretty. He introduced her as his girlfriend. Are you guys in an open relationship? I screenshotted the conversation and called Alex. He answered on the first ring. Miss me already. Who's the blonde from your gym? Silence. What? He finally said. Tyler's birthday party last month. You brought a date and introduced her as your girlfriend. Who told you that? Does it matter? Is it true? Look, it's not what you think. You took another woman to a party and called her your girlfriend, but it's not what I think. She's just a friend. People were asking about you, and it was easier. I was drinking. I said something stupid. You introduced another woman as your girlfriend because you said something stupid. It didn't mean anything. You were gone anyway. I was visiting my sick sister. You said you had to work. I did work, then Tyler invited me and you decided to bring a date. She's not a date. Look, we've been having problems. You're always busy or with Leo, and I was feeling neglected. So you found someone else. It's not like that. Then what is it? Explain it to me. Silence stretched. That's what I thought, I said quietly. You've been living a double life. Can we talk about this when you get home? This isn't a phone conversation. No, we're talking now. You're being emotional. You're stressed and not thinking clearly. I'm thinking more clearly than I have in months. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm starting to see what everyone else can see. Lily knew we were broken up before I did. How long have you been telling people we're not together? It's complicated. It's really not. Either we're together or we're not. Either you care or you don't. Of course I care. Do you? Caring means being there. It means not lying. It means not introducing other women as your girlfriend. I glanced at Leo, who was watching with concern. You're with Leo right now. Leo is my friend. Leo fixed my car. Leo protected me from creepy strangers while you hung up. Leo has been loyal and helpful and honest. Leo's in love with you. The words hung like an accusation. How do you know that? Come on, it's obvious. The way he looks at you, the way he's always available. I've known for months. You've known for months, and you never said anything. What was I supposed to say? Maybe you were supposed to care. Maybe you were supposed to be concerned another man loves your girlfriend. Maybe you were supposed to want to be the person I called. I took a breath. You were relieved, weren't you? Relieved Leo was here to take care of me so you didn't have to. Relieved when you heard I was going on this trip because it meant you could spend the weekend with your gym girlfriend without sneaking around. Isn't it? Silence. Tell me honestly, when I told you Leo and I were going on this trip, were you upset? Were you jealous? Did you wish you were coming? His silence was answer enough. You were relieved, I said, my voice breaking. And I've been feeling guilty this whole time. Guilty for wanting you to care more, for needing more, for being disappointed when you weren't there. I've been apologizing for having needs, but I'm done apologizing. What are you saying? I looked at Leo, standing in the heat, his shirt ruined, hands stained with grease, face sunburned from protecting me, then at my phone, full of lies and dismissals. I'm saying this conversation is over. We're done. You can't be serious. You're throwing away 2 years over one stupid party. I'm not throwing away 2 years over one party. I'm ending a relationship that's been over for months. You already told everyone it was over. I'm just making it official. You're making a mistake. I hung up and blocked his number. Leo leaned against the car. You okay? No, I said honestly, but I think I will be. My phone buzzed with notifications. I turned it off completely. So, Leo said carefully, what happens now? I looked at him, really looked. He'd confessed his feelings, watched me discover the betrayal, and through it all remained patient and supportive. Now, I said, I think we finish our road trip. We drove for about an hour when Leo's phone started ringing. He glanced at the screen. It's Alex, X whatever. Don't answer. The phone went quiet, then rang again and again. He's persistent, Leo observed. He's panicking. Leo's phone buzzed with a text. He handed it to me. Tell her to answer her phone. She's making a huge mistake. I deleted it without responding. We drove in comfortable silence until reaching a roadside diner with a flickering neon sign. I'm starving, Leo said, and I could use some air conditioning. The diner had red vinyl booths and a checkerboard floor. We slid into a booth by the window, and I finally began to relax. So, Leo said after we ordered, how are you feeling about everything? Honestly, I feel like an idiot. 2 years wasted on someone living a double life. You're not an idiot. You trusted someone who didn't deserve it. Before I could respond, the diner door chimed. I looked up to see Alex walking in. My stomach dropped. How did he find us? I whispered. GPS, if he has access to your phone's location. Alex spotted us and strode over, furious and desperate. We need to talk, he said, ignoring Leo. No, we don't. Yes, we do. You can't blow up our entire relationship over a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? You introduced another woman as your girlfriend. You told people we broke up months ago. Keep your voice down, he hissed, glancing at the other customers now staring. Why? Worried what people will think. This is between us. Leo leaned back, arms crossed. Funny how you're concerned about privacy now. Alex finally looked at Leo. This doesn't concern you. Actually, it does. I'm the one who's been taking care of your girlfriend while you played house with someone else. Taking care of her? Is that what you call it? The trucker at the counter turned to watch openly. The elderly couple strained to hear. Yeah, actually being there when she needs help. Novel concept. I'm sure you've been a perfect gentleman, trying to turn her against me. I didn't have to. You did that yourself. You think you're so noble, Saint Leo, always swooping in to save the day. At least I swoop in, you just hang up. That's enough, I said, but neither listened. You want the truth? Alex said louder. She's been using you for years. Every problem, every need she calls you, and you come running like a lovesick puppy. And after you solve everything, she comes home to me. She sleeps in my bed. She tells me about her day and doesn't mention you unless it's to complain you're always hanging around. I felt like I'd been slapped. That's not true. Isn't it? How many times have you told me Leo was being too much, that you wished he'd back off? Leo's face went pale, looking at me with an unreadable expression. There was a grain of truth. I had complained, but only because Alex made me feel guilty about having a friend who cared. See, Alex said triumphantly. She's been stringing you along, and you were too pathetic to see it. Leo stood up quickly, towering over Alex. You want to call me pathetic? Let's talk about pathetic. Pathetic is lying for months. Pathetic is bringing dates to parties while taking care of sick family. Pathetic is hanging up when she's scared. Pathetic is driving 300 miles to hunt her down because you're terrified people will find out what you really are. A coward, a liar, a man so insecure you're threatened by someone who actually gives a damn? The entire diner was silent. Alex looked around at the staring faces, then doubled down, addressing the room. My girlfriend ran off with another man, and now she's trying to make me look bad because she got caught. The trucker snorted. Caught doing what? Having car trouble. She planned this, the road trip, the breakdown, it's an excuse to be with him. Ex-boyfriend, I said firmly, standing beside Leo. I didn't plan anything. My car broke down, Leo fixed it, while you were on a date with another woman. I wasn't on a date. You introduced her as your girlfriend. That was a mistake. No, I said, my voice clear. The mistake was thinking I deserved to be treated like garbage for 2 years. 2 years? The elderly woman piped up. Honey, you wasted 2 years on this fool. Apparently so. Well, good riddance, the trucker said. Sounds like you're better off. This is none of your business, Alex whirled. You made it our business yelling in our diner, the waitress said dryly. And any man who hangs up on his girl when she's in trouble isn't worth the dirt on her shoes. You don't know what you're talking about. I know enough, the trucker said, standing up, a big man. Alex stepped back. I know a man who takes care of business. He nodded at Leo. And I know a boy who makes excuses. He looked at Alex with disgust. This is insane. You people don't know us. Don't need to, the elderly man said. Been married 43 years. That boy there has the heart of a man who'd move mountains for his woman. You, he shook his head. You got the heart of a boy who'd let his woman move the mountains herself. Alex looked around desperately. Every face was hostile. Fine, he said finally. Fine, you want him? You can have him. But don't come crying when you realize he's not who you think. Don't come crawling back when the novelty wears off. I chose you, I said quietly, because I didn't think I deserved better. But I do, and I'm done settling. You'll regret this. Leo stepped forward slightly. Alex backed up. The only thing she'll regret, Leo said, is not figuring out what you really were sooner. And what am I? Leo looked at him a long moment. Gone. It was a simple statement of fact. Alex opened his mouth, then seemed to have nothing left. He looked at me one last time, a mix of anger and hurt. This isn't over. Yes, I replied calmly. It is. He stormed out, the bell clanging violently. We watched through the window as he stood by his car, talking animatedly on his phone. Calling for backup? The trucker joked. Everyone laughed. The tension evaporated. The trucker bought our lunch. The elderly couple invited us for dessert. The waitress refused payment for coffee. It felt like the whole room adopted us. 43 years, the elderly woman said, patting my hand. And I'm telling you, that boy's got the look. What look? The look my herald had courting me, like you hung the moon and stars. I glanced at Leo, deep in conversation with her husband about carburetors. We're not, we have. Honey, that man just drove 300 miles and faced down your crazy ex. If that's not a declaration, I don't know what is. 20 minutes later, we were back on the road toward the mountains. I ignored my buzzing phone. So, Leo said, that happened. That happened, I looked at him. Thank you for everything, especially standing up to him. You stood up too. That speech about deserving better, that was all you. I meant it, I'm done settling. Good, you shouldn't, not ever. We drove in comfortable silence, the desert giving way to hills, the sunset painting the sky orange and pink. Leo. Yeah. What you said at the Overlook about being in love with me, did you mean it? Every word. And you've really felt that way for 2 years. About 2.5, actually. But who's counting? I looked out at the landscape, then back at him, at his strong hands, patient eyes, steady presence through every crisis and ordinary day for 3 years. I think, I said slowly, I'd like to find out what it feels like to be with someone who actually wants to be with me. He glanced over, hope flickering in his expression. Yeah. Yeah, I reached over and took his hand. He squeezed my fingers gently, and for the first time in longer than I could remember, I felt like I was exactly where I belonged. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Alex, "You're making the biggest mistake of your life." I deleted it without reading the rest and turned the phone off completely. Some mistakes, I thought as we drove toward the mountains, are actually the best decisions. Why? Oh, never knew you wanted to make.